The short hair sometimes gives like chic, rich mom, but then other times it gives Lord Farquaad or Edna Mode. I can't tell which one I am today. Anyway, we're just gonna have to live with either one. Hi besties, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be starting a little scrapbook. Recently, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little hard for me to be consistent with bullet journaling or just journaling in general. And that's not to say I won't get back into it, but as you can tell, for the past couple of months, I've been trying to do videos and little projects that bring me joy and make me excited to create again. So in that same spirit, I've been really into scrapbooking, scrapbook journaling, junk journaling. I feel like a lot of my recent journal spreads have kind of been in that style, and honestly, as I get older, I'm turning 27 this year, which is really, I don't want to go there. But now that I'm nearing my 30s, I feel like I am getting a little bit more sentimental and nostalgic about my past, and I am making more of an effort to preserve my memories, thinking about things that I want to like pass down to future kids, maybe. Let's not get into that, but it's that whole idea of like, don't let social media be your only archive of memories. And as someone who has a lot of her journals and diaries and photo albums from when I was a kid, I feel like I kind of want to have something similar for this new era of my life, my late 20s, early 30s life. I got this little sketchbook a while back. This is from Top Drawer. I really liked how the paper was this raw edge. I love the design on the front. It just looks very like sentimental and vintage, almost like something you would find in your grandma's room, and I thought it would make the perfect little scrapbook. So I added some stickers that says moments, and I like that it's like a bigger format. I'm not going to constrict myself to making this like only a travel journal or only this journal. I think it'll just be whenever I feel like sitting down and recounting a major moment during my late 20s. I'll check back in with you once we make our spreads, but I'm just gonna get cozy and throw on some music and we will just get started. So of course, for the very first page in my little scrapbook, I wanted to make almost like a title page. So I started out by ripping this polka dotted paper that I use, and this was actually the paper little sleeves that we used at our little craft fest booth. If someone bought any stickers from our booth, then we just put them in these little polka dotted sleeves. So I had a lot of extra ones, and I thought that they were really cute to use as scrapbook paper. So I ripped that up and used it. At the top, you can see I used little alphabet letter stickers to spell out my memories, and I also used my red colored pencil, which has been one of my favorite little things to use as accent colors in any journal spread. I love using red colored pencil. I think it adds such a pop. So the title page says welcome to my memories, and then I have a photo of myself, which I printed out using the Canon Ivy. Once I had my main sections laid out in the center, I decorated the empty spaces using stickers, stamps, and doodles. It was really fun to use a lot of stationery that I don't get to use that often, and I think this cover page turned out really cute. Alright guys, if you are really liking this scrapbooky vibe and aesthetic, and maybe you are also interested in creating your own website, I wanted to show you this really cute website that I made using Framer, who is the sponsor of today's video. So if you don't know what Framer is a no-code website builder that makes creating websites without a developer super easy. It just feels like using your favorite design tool like Figma or Canva. You can customize your website using really cool features like scroll animations and custom cursors, which is my personal favorite feature on this website that I made. I uploaded my own custom cursor, and it just adds a nice little cute vibe to the website. We are saying no to basic websites. I was easily able to make my website look more unique by adding these custom touches. I think it just makes a website look way more dynamic and interesting and will keep the viewer there. And of course, if that sounds overwhelming to you, they have over 700 templates for you to start from, and you can remix it to customize it and make it your own. Framer has built-in SEO and analytics, so you don't need to mess with all the technical stuff. They've got it covered. So I really recommend it if you guys are looking to create a website. So if you guys want to try out Framer for yourself and start playing around with your own website, you can use the link in my description box. You can sign up for free, and then when you're ready, you can use my code AmandaRachLee for 25% off the first 3 months. Thank you again to Framer for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to our real life scrapbook. Another scrapbook page idea that I had was to just compile a bunch of my photo booth and Polaroid photos that I have. A lot of times I take so many of these photos at events or when I'm with my friends, and then they end up not really going anywhere. There was a bunch next to my desk. Sometimes I'll put them in my journal spreads, but oftentimes I'll just have them loose. So I wanted to just compile a bunch of them onto one spread, and not really restricting myself to keeping them like chronological or specific to an event. I just like the idea of looking at little snapshots of memories, moments in time. A lot of them were from last year or from different trips, and I think, you know, just looking at it when I'm older, it'll be like, oh, this is like from my 20s. I put the photos on top of this gingham scrapbooking paper that I had, which I will try to link a lot of the things that I used in this video down below, but honestly, a lot of my stationery is just in random piles, and sometimes I can't remember where I got stuff from. And then of course I had to decorate it with a bunch of stickers, and I also added some letter stickers that say snapshots from my 20s. And I had this cute camera sticker as well that I got from Little Craft Fest. And I thought this spread was so cute. I definitely want to do some more scrapbook spreads in this scrapbook that compile a lot of these photo booth strips, because I honestly have so many. I added little quotes and sayings around the photos, like smile for the camera, and then one underneath that said the people around me are the ones who shape me, which is very true. And overall, I just love the vibe of looking at all these photos, and here I'm showing you my bucket of random photos and scraps that I have. So I am just so excited to finally put them to use in this scrapbook. One of the other things that I wanted to do was compile a bunch of the tickets that I have from different events and trips over the years. This is not like plain tickets, because I feel like I could make a whole entire separate scrapbook spread with plain tickets. But for this one, I used tickets from one of my favorite Broadway shows that I saw, a cable car thing that I went on, and I think it's so nice that in the future when I flip through this, I'll be reminded of these little events and things that I went to, because honestly, a lot of the times I forget these little moments. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make my little scrapbook, my late 20s diary. I think I also really like the idea of taking my time with making spreads in this. I mean, I feel like back in the day when the grandmas and the girlies were scrapbooking, like they were putting time into it, and I kind of want to bring that back, like slow creation. Sometimes it's really easy for me to get caught up in journaling because it is a part of my job. I feel a little bit of pressure to make a journal spread about something that happened in my life immediately after, like if I traveled on a trip or a big moment happened, I feel like I need to make a journal spread about it and post about it immediately, which I'm trying to like untrain myself from doing that. And I think having this where I'm like thinking of it as an archive of memories, it'll be nice for me to take my time with it. Like for example, my New York pop-up was 3 months ago, and maybe in the past I would have allowed that to stop myself from making a spread about it, but now I still want to do that and still like print out photos and put them in here so that I can look back on my late 20s with fondness. Maybe I'll make more of these videos or give you guys updates on how my little scrapbook spreads are going as I make them on Instagram. I know it's a little bit different than the bullet journaling videos, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and maybe it inspired you to make your own little scrapbook as well. Just as a little bit of housekeeping, we are launching the Little Doodle Friends blind box plushie keychain collection very soon. So if you're a Fredbert lover, this is for you. You can follow us on Little Doodle Friends and Shop ARL to find more information about the launch. I'm so excited for this because I've been working on it for a really long time, but I'll make a separate video about that very soon. So I think that's it for now, and I will talk to you in the next video. Keep doodling, bye!